I'm going back on the subject of lying liars who lie, mostly Democrats. And that brings me to Zohran Mamdani and the disgusting lie he appears to have told about his aunt. There's so many disgusting things about this clip. That's kind of the least disgusting thing, but it is a lie. Here he is. Also, part of the lie was his fake crying. Where's the tear? Show me the tear. Any man who's actually crying and like choking up, like can't get through the sentence, would have an actual tear, because it would have to be that level for him to actually be choked up and like stopping a speech. There's not a tear. He's actually faking. He's acting, and it's despicable. Here it is, SOT 4.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City.
See, he looks down. Can't see it. Don't look at his eyes.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
She did not feel safe in her hijab. All right.
It's insane. Everybody wearing blue jeans on the subway didn't feel safe after September 11th. There's nothing special about this Ugandan who's running for mayor of New York. He's lying.
Well, also,
there's no aunt. Okay, first of all, there is no aunt.
Yeah.
There's one actual aunt who is dead, and she lives in a totally different country. Then there was a cousin. There was a cousin who I guess now he's saying, he misidentified her as an aunt. And it's unclear whether she ever wore a hijab or rode the subway at all. But isn't the real issue here that if you are going to talk about 9/11, you must start, no matter who you are, but especially if you want to be the mayor of New York, with the nearly 3,000 people, Americans, who were killed by radical Islamic terrorists that day. That's the issue, Zohran, not your fake invented auntie.
That's the thing, is this is like the Norm Macdonald. He had that joke, like, I hope ISIS never blows up a nuclear bomb within the United States. Imagine what would happen to the innocent radical Muslims after. Like, that. This is for someone who's running to be mayor of New York City. And next year is going to be the 25th anniversary of that attack. And all signs point towards it's going to be overseen by Zohran Mamdani, someone who wanted to globalize the Intifada. I think New York is getting what it deserves, because this is what these voters have wanted. They've wanted the city to get worse. They're going to get what they deserve.
Last week showed up with the unindicted co-conspirator, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing.
He's not actually an unindicted co-conspirator, but the guy did. But the imam did testify for the blind sheikh at his terrorism trial. Right. The guy who bombed the first World Trade Center. Andy McCarthy was the prosecutor. He wrote an article saying we actually weren't considering him an unindicted co-conspirator, but he was totally supportive of the people who bombed the World Trade Center. And Zohran Mamdani is all arms with him, buddy, arms around each other, laughing just a couple of weeks ago, calling him a pillar of the community.
Another thing, so I saw a statistic where following the events of September 11th, across the United States and in New York City, they did polling. The approval rating for Muslim Americans has gone up significantly among conservatives, among liberals, across America, and in New York City. And all a result of that is you have these left-wing candidates running on how everyone's mean to Muslims, everyone's mean to Muslims, everyone's mean to Muslims. We welcome these people into our country with the promise that this is the land of opportunity. Join this nation, be a member of this society, and you can succeed. And what is ever since he's come here, what has his stake been? This is a horrible nation, and it treats me so badly.
Okay, so this is the most fascinating thing I think about, radical leftism and radical Islam and these democratic socialists in America, is that you have a lot of these people who come to this country and they blame America as being a country that's
oppressive,
broken. Right? Settler colonialism. Of course, they choose to settle in America.
Right. Yeah, which is weird.
And then in the United States, they want to sit here and tell us how wrong we are and how much we have to change. That is sort of the fascinating inversion of our values as Americans that some of these people do. And I mean, it's Mamdani's dad himself, who is an anti-colonialist professor or whatever, who gets paid lots of money to be a professor in American universities. He's not back in Uganda trying to do anti-colonialism. He's here in the United States trying to change America. Think about how whacked that is.
Okay, but here's the New York Post points out there was no wave of anti-Muslim hate crimes following 9/11.
Nope.
Not in New York or anywhere else. Americans behaved themselves with class and dignity and restraint, even though they'd been brutally attacked by these jihadi terrorists. Okay, like his friend, who like the friends of his favorite imam, who tried to bomb the World Trade Center the first time and kill thousands of Americans. This pillar of the community. The Post pointing out that the fake anti, may have had such fears, but only because activist outfits like the Radical Council on the American Islamic Relations, CARE, we all know them, instantly began warning of rising Islamophobia in the wake of the attacks. So maybe she was spun up by a group Zohran Mamdani loves, CARE, but it wasn't by actual New Yorkers who were the victims, you cretin, not perpetrators. If there was any anti-something bias, it was anti-American hatred by Muslims. Zohran, it wasn't Americans hating Muslims, even though they had great cause to following September 11th. And here's just a couple more, okay? And that you mentioned the father. Okay, the father, who's a professor at Columbia, Zohran Mamdani's father, he wrote in his 2004 book, Good Muslim, Bad Muslim, America, the Cold War, and the Roots of Terror, quote, "We need to recognize the suicide bomber first and foremost as a category of soldier." Quote, "Suicide bombing needs to be understood as a feature of modern political violence rather than stigmatized as a mark of barbarism."
My God.
That's the person who raised Zohran Mamdani. This alone is a deal breaker. This man cannot be the mayor of New York City. He cannot be the mayor of New York City. Vote for Cuomo. I'm sorry. I don't like Andrew Cuomo at all. I've said it every time. I can't stand the man. The nursing homes, the sex pest stuff, the arrogance. I don't care. Zohran Mamdani cannot be our next mayor.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem you have is that Mamdani, like Gavin Newsom, is a perfect embodiment of today's Democratic Party, where they have these extreme radical beliefs that are, even in a left-leaning place, probably pretty radically outside the mainstream that would get you elected, but they're shapeshifters. And like that clip that you played of Mamdani doing the fake tear thing, I mean, you put him on a red carpet and give him an Oscar for something like that. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The woman that he's talking about doesn't exist in real life, and he moved to tears over it.
That's the thing, is none of it exists. This bigotry, this America's a racist, horrific nation, none of that exists. No. Everything that the left is pushing is an entire lie. But I'm going to disagree with you completely and take the opposite side. Don't support Cuomo. Go for Sliwa. Sure, he's going to lose and Mamdani's going to win, but New York's going to get what they want. They're going to get what they deserve.
I hear you, but
if they get out of control, President Trump can send in the feds. New York has to get a lot worse. The people there have to suffer. They deserve it.
Muslims taking over New York City.
But that's what they want. That's what all the liberal voters, the Upper West Side, is going to line up around the block to vote for Zohran Mamdani.
Well, and
they deserve it.
And I would just say, this guy who testified, this imam who testified at the Blind Sheikh's trial, I would remind everyone, especially like the younger listeners of this, that when Ramzi Youssef was put in shackles and he was in a helicopter after he was arrested, he was over the World Trade Center, and what he said was, if I had more explosives, we would have taken down those buildings. And to think now, all of these years later, that we're going to elect somebody who is a compatriot to these people is such a disgusting thing in New York. I don't think Islamophobia, as it's hurled at us, is really
not
even
a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not real.
Islamophobia is a made-up term meant to silence critics of Islam. Critics of Islam are onto something. Islam is incompatible with Western values.
Yes.
Period.
And that's what I'm going to say again and again. New York's getting what it deserves. Those people are going to vote for things to get so bad. They voted for de Blasio again. They had the chance to correct that. And I don't believe it's the job of conservatives or Republicans to save those people from themselves. To be like, well, I guess we got to side with Cuomo. Nope. We've tried so many times in New York. I ran so many elections there. If the people want to suffer, you have to let them suffer. It's not like there's going to be a point where they realize, wow, things have gotten bad after Zohran. I guess we got to vote for Republicans. They will never, ever. The left has never once course corrected and been like, you know what? It was a mistake doing gender surgery on kids. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when we see that right in front of our eyes, they still will not retreat. They never go back.
I hear you.
This is what they deserve.
New York City is the gem of the United States. It's by far the greatest city in the world. It just is. It's one thing to lose Dearborn, Michigan. It's one thing to lose Minneapolis. I'm not happy about those either. But it's quite another to lose New York City to radical Islam. We cannot let it happen. I mean, I'm there all the time. I'm in the city. My kids are in the city. My family's in the city. I've grown up as a New Yorker. 50 of my years were spent in the state of New York and 17 of them in Manhattan. This cannot fucking happen. This guy can't win. It's one thing to go socialist. I was with you on that. But the more I have seen how radical Zohran Mamdani is on the Muslim thing, the more we cannot have it. This guy genuinely scares me. He has to be stopped. And that is why I uttered the words last week and just again now that I never, ever would think I would or utter, which is I would vote for Cuomo if I were still in the city, and I hope people vote for Cuomo. I'd like Sliwa. I like Sliwa. He can't win. He's had a shot. He's down now, according to the latest poll, under 10%. And Cuomo actually has had a surge since Eric Adams bailed out. They're within 10 points of each other with Sliwa in. There's a chance he could stop him. And he has to be stopped politically at the ballot box.
Megyn, can I ask you one question, though? And this is the thing that frustrates me about the state of this race. Is like, why wasn't there some patriot, some independent businessman who stepped up and said, I want to do something about this? And nobody did. And that's what's so disheartening is our choice is the guy who put grandmas into facilities that got them killed during COVID, or Sliwa. And it's just very depressing to me that nobody had the courage to step up and see this for what it was.
That age of New York is gone. We remember how tremendous the Bloomberg years were. The city was safe. The trains ran on time. And then what did they do? They're like, this guy, he did stop and frisk. He's a Nazi.
Yeah.
And now they got de Blasio. And now look at where they are. They get what they deserve. It had its chance. They saw responsible leadership and they said no. They turned on it. This is a radicalized left-wing party. They are going to get what they deserve, and they will never learn from their mistakes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I still, I'm holding out hope. Those are the things I'm going to be telling myself the day after the election, Smug, if Mamdani wins. But before he's actually done it, I'm on a different page. I do want to say this, okay? I'm so angry about the Mamdani attempt to make 9/11
because it's the best city on the planet. It's incredible.
But the nerve of him trying to take 9/11 and make it about Islamophobia is
it's
so
incredible.
galling. Okay, my team put this together because, I was at Fox News. I started at Fox News. I started in news in 2003 in Washington, D.C., which was also a hit on 9/11. And I started at Fox in 2004, so 3 years after 9/11. And a lot of my colleagues, like Greg Kelly, were over there on tanks reporting as we were, invading, and covered so many deaths of American service personnel who went over there and sacrificed everything in these wars. That's what 9/11 is about. What happened that day with the 2,977 people killed and the firefighters and the cops especially, but everyone. And then all of the U.S. service personnel who were killed, thousands of them in the years thereafter. He gets up there and wants to make about Islamophobia for a fake aunt. So we pulled this because every year we cover 9/11 and we give it its due because it's personal for a lot of us.
Yep.
And here's just a couple, okay? What you didn't hear from Zohran Mamdani was anything about Kevin Cosgrove. I'm going to play you a soundbite from Kevin Cosgrove. He was 46 years old. He was from Long Island, West Islip. He was a husband. He was a father of 3. His oldest son was 12, and he had 2 others as well. He was a vice president at Aon Corporation. He was on the 105th floor of the South Tower. He called 911 to try to get help for himself and his trapped colleagues. And we've got the soundbite. Let's take a listen to it.
Lady, there's 3 of us in this office. We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad. Hey, what are you guys up to? We're getting there. Doesn't feel like it, man. I got young kids. I understand that, sir. We're on the way. We have everything, sir. I know you do, but it doesn't seem like it. You got lots of people up here. I understand. I know you got a lot in the building, but we're up on the top. Smoke rises.
We're on the top.
We're on the floor.
Smoke rises too. We're on the floor. We're in the window.
I can barely breathe now.
I can barely breathe now.
We're not ready to die. We're looking at
We're not ready to die.
The three of us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
Yep.
That is what happened when Kevin Cosgrove was killed on 9/11/2001. That day is about him. It's about the others who perished in the most unimaginable, painful, horrific way possible due to radical jihadis, radical Islam. It is not about some fake invented ant. It is not about Islamophobia. And no one can be mayor of New York City who doesn't understand that and prioritize that narrative and those victims. Buy gold and get free silver. That's right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Look, gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you are current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider diversifying your savings into gold. Text MK to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text MK to the number 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.